Nice.
Yeah.
What happened going on?
A lot of people coming to the website.
Right.
Well, yeah, it's going good. Angelsguide.org. Check it out, everybody.
What is it again? Angelsguide.org.
Angelsguide.org.
Yeah.
Check it out.
That really sounds perfect.
You won't be disappointed.
You will not be disappointed.
Buy something while you're there.
Yeah, make them happy. Spend $1 or $2. That's about it.
$9.99 is the cheapest you can spend.
What do you get? What do you get for $9.99?
You get my tape that you listen to at night, a subliminal tape. Subliminal? Say that quick. Subliminal.
Right. So when you're sleeping, you listen to this?
Yep. And there's a
Awesome.
workbook that you get with it too. Very reasonably priced.
Great.
Very reasonably.
Check it out.
What's up with you?
I've been keeping busy. We actually, we're going to go back into that place near the mansion there, right near downtown Salem, the one you're living there.
Yep.
And check that out soon. Tours, witchcityghosts.com. A lot of tours going on, a lot of fun. Come to Salem, Mass, downtown Salem, the Witch City, where you can be the investigator, bring all the equipment, and we have a good time. Good times.
Nice.
I don't tell stories, it's all real stuff, man.
Yeah, you
Real deal.
get to play with equipment.
The real deal. Yeah, I even bring out the thermal camera, so it's a lot of fun. People get to do that.
You break it, you own it.
Well, no, you break it. I get pissed and have to buy another one, but that's what happens. That's why we have a couple, I guess.
Yeah.
It is why we have a couple.
Don't eat popcorn with butter on it before you use it. And then you get slippery fingers.
All right. It's today's motto, right?
Yeah.
Today's word to the wise. Guys, if you want to call and talk to us tonight or any of our guests, 607-441-6233. And don't forget, if you're listening live, etmwickedradio.com, go in our Everything Paranormal chat room. Chat.
Yeah, chat.
Or you can get ETM Paranormal on Twitter. And, so just send us all your questions, all your thoughts tonight. We are here for you.
Actually, like, calls.
Yeah, we'd like a couple of calls. Would be great.
Yeah, nobody calls.
Well, we get the good ratings, but they don't call in.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people listen to us on iHeart Radio later or Spreaker or...
Get off your ass, get off the couch, and give us a call.
Some people have a life right now, so they're going to rather listen later. I listen later.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah, I learn a lot by listening to you later. Much later.
Good.
Not really.
You don't listen to me while I'm talking.
I don't. I pretend to. I do. No doubt about it.
All right, let's roll this.
All right, so our first guest, let's get this thing on the show on the road. Show on the road. She comes from California. Our next guest is the author of Quantum Jumps, actually a very interesting book. It's an extraordinary science of happiness and prosperity, and I am actually halfway through this book right now. It's a very good book, Jeff. In fact, I highly recommend it.
You feeling happy and prosperous?
Yeah, I'm getting there. I am well on my way. Welcome to Everything Paranormal, Cynthia Sue Larson.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here. Really happy. Yeah, so I guess, I don't know if you wanted to introduce the concept of what the book is about, or do you want me to describe it a little bit?
Oh, absolutely. What we'd like you to do first is tell our listeners a little about yourself, about your background, about the book, and where they can get it, and check out all your social media and all that interesting good stuff.
Right. Well, my background is that I've been doing life coaching and writing books, studying metaphysics for the last 15 years. And I've got a website, Reality Shifters, where I've been sharing first-hand accounts and experiences of people that have been seeing some pretty amazing things. Objects literally appearing and disappearing out of thin air, things teleporting, transportation, just like where something is in one place at one time and then it appears somewhere else, as well as just seeing things completely different, like something might be like a red coffee cup, and you turn around and come back and it's green, that kind of thing. I'm talking about shifts in reality. So this has been my fascination for about 20 years, and I've been writing about it for the last 15. My background before that is I've got a degree in physics from UC Berkeley. And the reason I majored in physics was because I would have gotten a degree in consciousness studies, but they didn't offer it back when I went to that university. So that's my real interest, is looking at the way there seems to be a real connection between consciousness and the physical world. And that's why it's perfect for your show, because I'm just fascinated in everything having to do with metaphysics, including, things that just seem like they're just a bit out there, very inexplicable. So this book, Quantum Jumps, is my attempt to get current with some really amazing cutting-edge science and explain what might be going on with some of these, what I call quantum jumps.
Awesome. Yeah, I mean, I think the only reason people can't create is because their mind can't conceive it yet. It's basically, I think that we can create anything we ever wanted if your mind can, let go of the false beliefs that you can't.
Right. Yeah, there does seem to be a tremendous amount of truth to that, for sure. And that's the kind of thing, I guess when you're reading the book Quantum Jumps, that comes through as you read some of the experiences people have had. And I think that the reason I put so many first-hand stories in here is because, again, that's what inspires me when I hear about people that have just really witnessed some out there stuff.
Yeah.
When you realize anything is possible.
Oh,
It really is.
I mean, you think about it, before somebody ran the, the 1 minute mile or something, I forget what it is, the exact number, but nobody thought it could be done. And then once it was done, it was done hundreds of times after that. Once the mind breaks through to see something, but see, these people they somehow created a belief that they don't, that they're not being held back by what they're thinking. So that's good. I mean, I think that's where everybody is headed at some point.
Right. It looks like we're evolving that direction for sure, as just a planetary process. And these things can take time. It takes generations. But on the other hand, some people are really seeing a lot of stuff. I think you notice that when I don't do paranormal investigations, but I would imagine some investigators tend to they tend to see things more often than others. And that's probably, again, a function of just realizing this could be true. You could go out there and really see some cool stuff, and then you do. I think there's a lot of truth to that, too.
Oh, yeah. I mean, a lot of the stuff, me and Mark were at this mental hospital that we kind of snuck into. But anyway, and we were both downstairs with his daughter and another girl, and I saw this little red light go right past me, and I'm watching it, and then it goes and it hits him in the elbow, and then he looks at his elbow. And my niece saw me watching and then do that too. She goes, wow, I just saw you guys both did that at the same time. So, I mean, those are things that, people don't believe in the older stuff. But, I mean, once you see it, you have to believe. I mean, it changes your life and your perception of everything.
Absolutely. And this is actually true in the field of science as well. There are people, I think a lot of scientists that are in laboratory settings, the reason we hear so much about skepticism and people saying that there's no way that you can actually see macroscopic level teleportation, just transmutation where things change, and as well as all these other things we're talking about, is that, the scientists that are doing these experiments, that they need to be able to be kind of locked into believing that scientific method is all there is, and that you're not going to see this kind of phenomena.
Yeah.
And like you said, when you believe that, then that's exactly what tends to happen.
Well, it's like simple manifestation. I mean, if you're visualizing, if you can get past the inner gatekeeper that tells you it can't happen, and you can visualize something and you can start small and prove it to yourself. And then, I mean, as you look for signs throughout your day that, that it's actually, your thought. Basically, we're all like radio transmitter. This is a vibrational universe.
Exactly. Yeah, that's exactly true.
Yeah, so everything is vibrations right down to the rocks that are on the ground. And so, what you're thinking, to say, when you hear people say live in the now, that's exactly what you need to do, because what you're doing now is you are now placing your grocery list into the vortex that's out there, and, you know, and with your vibrations, it comes back to you.
Right. Yeah, exactly. And so this is a way that we can develop a communication just between ourselves, what we think of ourselves. And that's the key point of this whole book, Quantum Jumps, and most of the work that I do is recognizing we are not our physical bodies, but what we are is that awareness, that observer that's paying attention. That's our real identity. And I think recognizing that, it gets into that vibration you're talking about exactly. It's recognizing that you are that pure energy being. And some of us are, you know, when you do more meditation, when you, and it doesn't have to be anything fancy like chanting or anything. It can just be being mindful, just being aware of where you are, being really present.
Yeah.
That kind of mindful awareness, it absolutely changes the brain, which is measurable. There have been recent research studies done that show that the effects to the hippocampus are profound, and this in turn affects the way that we're able to observe patterns and recognize opportunities and obviously interact with everything around us. So again, there's just such a clear, there's so much growing body of evidence to suggest that what we really are, this conscious awareness, is having huge effects on not just our physical body with things like the hippocampus and the brain, but also everything around us, including the physical reality that we tend to think is fixed and stable, but it's not. It changes.
Yeah, I mean, basically, physically, I mean, there is no scientific proof that we should actually age, you know, because, I mean, every 2 years our cells regenerate, our skin regenerates, so, I mean, there's actually no scientific proof. It's just our belief that we should die. That is the reason we die. I mean, it's
No, I think it's different. I mean, the body just...
No, there's no scientific proof that the body dies. I mean, we
down.
regenerate a new body every 2 years.
You?
Yeah, look it up.
Huh?
Google it.
Google it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Am I right, Cynthia?
Well, that's not an area of my expertise, but I'd be open to considering that as a possibility. That's a really interesting line of thought. Haven't given it much thought, but it's interesting.
Well, it's true. It's like our cells, everything in us regenerates every 2 years. So if you think about it, the only reason that we die is because of our beliefs that we're supposed to die. I mean, most people...
I don't think the body breaks down.
No, it doesn't.
Right.
Because you think it's supposed to.
Wow.
Well, this gets into some interesting areas of research, actually, because something I mentioned in the book Quantum Jumps, and I don't know if you got there, but it has to do with the research of Dr. Becca Levy, and it's toward the end of the book, so it's like page 162 or so, and she did some aging research about prejudices and the way people, when they have bias and prejudice and sort of pre-existing feelings about the elderly, this is where it gets really interesting. You know, people that tend to think negatively about the elderly actually don't live as long. She did a study that went over 23 years, and people that originally had felt like, well, the elderly, they get old, they fall apart, things age, the body collapses, they live 7.5 years shorter time than those that believe the elderly are healthy and valuable members of society, and you know, they have free time, they can do what they want, they're well respected, they're healthy, you know, they just got it going on, they're wise. And so the way that we believe about these things, I mean, it's amazing, actually. That's not the only thing. So you think that's pretty impressive that you can live like at least 7.5 years longer simply by thinking, okay, when you get older people, you know, they do really well. Just having that mental picture. Thinking of people like Betty White, for example, you know, because she's amazing. The Queen of England, you know, whoever it is that comes to mind, like, oh, they're still jumping around, they're getting out there, they're doing things, they're vibrant, they're vital. The other thing that's amazing is that the same researcher, Dr. Becca Levy, she also found out that not only do people live longer, but they also, in addition to that, recover better from a variety of different things that can happen. So, like sometimes when you get older, well, at any age, actually, you can have some kind of a health problem, but the recovery was just so much faster for people that had, again, that positive bias, that positive prejudice about the elderly. And they would recover just so fast.
it's all in vibration.
Close shit, yeah.
They're sending out the frequency and vibration that, oh, look at that old person. I don't want to be like that. So the universe is getting, oh, you want to be like that. Okay, here you go. You know, I mean, it's as simple as that.
Yeah, there's definitely this interaction going on between conscious awareness and the physical reality around us. And so this is a hot topic of research right now at our universities. And I've been going to a series of meetings put on by the Foundation of Mind, and that's at UC Berkeley, but it's also hosted by the University of Ireland. And they've been finding some remarkable evidence to suggest exactly what you're saying, that even within our mind, that there's no scale effect that you would expect to see. Like if you look at a brain of a whale and a brain of a mouse, you might think that the brain of the whale is going to take longer for a thought to go from one end to another part of that brain, but it doesn't. It really is happening as a waveform, a wave function. And the other interesting thing is memories are not stored in any particular part of the brain, but instead it's more like this waveform access. And memories are so fascinating because actually, on some level, our brain can't really distinguish that. The memory of what something is versus how we experience what we think we're experiencing is pretty darn similar. So there's some amazing research happening in cognitive science right now, having to do with exactly what we're talking about. You know, these amazingly interactive, vibrational ways of communicating. That seems like that's exactly how we think. That's how we cogitate. It's very sensitive, very sort of a noisy environment when you read brainwave activity. So there's a lot of things happening simultaneously. So researchers in the past used to think that's just a lot of noise. There's no information. Let's just look at the neurons. But actually, it's just like exactly what you're saying. It's that vibration. There is information there, and that's exactly how our mind seems to be working. Our mind is not the brain. Our mind is that consciousness, that vibrational awareness.
It was very interesting. Folks, let me give you guys a chance to call and talk to Cynthia Sue Larson. The number is 607-441-6233. No, it's not Jeff's phone this time. That was somebody else that might be calling. And that's 607-441-6233. Go ahead, Jeff. You had a question?
No, I didn't. Actually, I did. No, my phone went off. It threw me off balance. Yeah.
Got him. Oh, about bad vibrations.
Yeah, that was bad vibes.
Cynthia, tell us a little bit more about your book.
Okay, yeah, my book is called Quantum Jumps, and I've written it so that each chapter really starts off with some of the science behind what's going on. What is this quantum jump? And what the idea here in the book is that it's the science of instant transformation. So the idea is that we are our consciousness, and this book is just filled with dozens of laboratory-tested experimental results, rather, that are translated right into fast, easy exercises that you can do to become faster, smarter, happier, in better relationships, more outgoing, more confident, and with more willpower, just all kinds of things. And it's really the coming together that's so exciting for me of lots of different sciences right now. In the field of psychology, people are noticing that you can fake it till you make it. The placebo effect has doubled in efficacy in the last 30 years. So those little sugar pills that were originally created so that they could be used in laboratory trials to test to see if pharmaceutical drugs are working as well as they're supposed to. Some people are given the placebo, the sugar pill, which is supposed to do nothing. Some people get the actual medicine. And what's been happening, what's really surprising, is that the placebo medication, it was sort of negligible effects to begin with. But then what happened is people started having a response when they took the sugar pill or whatever other kind of placebo was prescribed. So now, in some cases, people can get anywhere from at least a 30 to 40% improvement when they take a placebo, sometimes as high as 60 to 70% improvement. And that's just beating the socks off what we would consider necessary or impressive when doing any kind of a clinical trial for pharmaceuticals. So the big question that I would think everybody should have right on top of their minds right now is what is going on? Why are we seeing a placebo effect that was climbing and getting higher and higher until it got to around 30%, and now at you can actually boost it up so you get 70% efficacy of doing a placebo drug, a placebo surgery. That would be a fake surgery, or any number of other kinds of placebo, which is basically just intention, just letting someone know that they've got the support of someone they trust, whether it's a doctor wearing a white laboratory coat who's assuring them that lots of people benefit when they take the placebo. And this is true. You can even tell people they're in the placebo group, and if you do it correctly and do it well, they'll still improve. So it's something amazing is happening right now, and that's what I wanted to get to the bottom of. It's like there's something going on, and all the clues are right here in front of us right now. We're living in an exciting time, I think the most exciting time in history, much more than the Copernican revolution, because now we've got people working to develop quantum technology so that we can have quantum computing. And the side effect of racing toward developing those first quantum computers is that we are actually starting to see that this exactly what I've been talking about, what we're talking about right now, is happening. Quantum effects are happening in our macroscopic scale all the time. And so what's going to make these quantum computers work is something that scientists are shocked to discover. They're finding out, like, wow, we can entangle diamonds just like you would entangle quantum particles. Now they're entangling things that are no longer quantum particles, but are objects you can hold and see in your own hand. So it's just extraordinary. And maybe I should explain what I mean by entanglement. But these are quantum effects that we're absolutely expecting to see and starting to witness. Just room temperature, with things that you can actually see. They're not so tiny that they're invisible anymore. And they're moving together. They've got coherence. We're able to start demonstrating that quantum processes are actually a very natural phenomenon, and they're being witnessed in biology as well. So that word quantum is now just part of quantum astronomy. We've got astronomers looking to see if there's perhaps a multiverse that we exist in, if there are other universes outside the Big Bang, for example. And it looks like there is evidence to support that theory. So this is just an extraordinary time when quantum physics that people used to think, like, you could just sweep it under the carpet, it's tiny, forget about it. Very much like dust, when your house is creeping, and like, let's ignore that dust, that quantum dust. Well, it can't be ignored, and it's not swept under the rug anymore, because now biologists are noticing that quantum biology is super important for all of our sensing, our sense of smell, the sense of direction in birds. It's even integral in the way plants photosynthesize.
Do quantums, what's the word for the whole study of quantum? Is it quantum? Quantum jumping? Does quantum jumping involve emotions? Like, so you can feel something before it happens, so it's like you feel that emotion before you actually get it? Do they involve that at all? Or is it all mostly science?
Yeah, well, it can involve emotions. And that's a really good question, because I think people care about things that we get emotional about. And if you can't get emotional about it, who cares?
So I'm not talking about passion for your work. I'm talking about, say you want a new car, and you actually feel the feeling of having that new car, that type of emotion.
Before you get it?
Yeah. And then it'll bring it to you.
All right.
So if you start visualizing the car you want, and you start feeling driving it, and you're feeling the emotions of the happiness of the new car. You know how when you get a new car, you're always happy?
Yeah, and it always smells good.
It's just
it really does matter, and the reason it matters is because it gives us that energy that you need to make a quantum jump, because that's absolutely essential. Quantum jumping is not something you do with no energy. You can't just be like, oh, hum.
Yeah.
It'd be really nice to have a new car, yawn,
So that's,
I wonder what's on TV tonight. You have to really care about it. You're right, and that's the energy that gets added. That energy is super important.
So that's just one of the parts of doing the quantum. I mean, you need to feel it, too.
You need to feel it. Yeah. So the steps for quantum jumping is what you're getting into here, and I think I addressed the first one, which was, get relaxed, meditate, get into that mindful, peaceful state. But you're right. The second step is to get energized. Absolutely, it's all about the emotions. It's feeling whether because I share stories in quantum jumps about people who saved their lives, saved the lives of loved ones, just with miraculous things that happened that seem impossible. Where they're teleported to safety, or where they're able to literally do something like make a jump off of a rock face, holding a small infant with an oncoming hurricane, whatever it is that they thought they couldn't do. In that split second, suddenly they can do it. And you're right, it's all about the emotion. So it's not just saving your life, but it's realizing, you have to care about that new car. Because if you don't care, and you wonder how come it's not working, well, you're not adding the energy. That's exactly it.
Yeah, well, and you need to let go, like you need to have that feeling and then let go. Like, just think, well, where's it coming? When's it coming?
Rid of that negative energy.
So I was just wondering if, because that's, it seems like emotion should be involved, that you could actually feel what you're going to do, and if you can't do that, that should be like one of the first things you learn. Well, like you said, meditate.
Yeah, meditate's the first thing because it gets you calm so that you're not, focused on the wrong things, and so that you can really recognize that you are one, that you're energy, that in other words, anything's possible. So you're in that open mind state where you don't have any fear driving you, and you got all the possibilities. And then number two, feel that energy, feel the emotion. And then number three, you said it, you're exactly right. You'd have to, that energy has to match something that you can actually see yourself doing.
Yeah.
And step three is just, get out there and do what you need to do.
Yeah.
So recognize that, the miracle is happening, the change has happened, everything's shifting right now. Now you need to do your part.
Yeah.
And really keep your word about what that is.
Your vibration might not match what you want yet, so you need to become that person that you want to get that thing.
Right. And that's where it gets into faking it till you make it, which is this whole, I'm just amazed that all these kinds of ideas are coming into mainstream science right now, because that fake it till you make it, that was originally, well, it's been mentioned many times, but, American psychologist was talking about that, and what he did is he was basically saying, if you want a quality, act as if you already have it, and this is so important because when you recognize, that you can, fake it till you make it, that you can, really pretty much do anything that you put your mind and heart to, that you feel like is possible for you. And it gets right back to living a longer life, being healthy, all these things. Life, it doesn't make any sense to feel like your body has to get older and fall apart. So
I think the best way to have
the eternal life.
The best way to have the body what you want it is to let your body do what it has to do. When you get a cut, you don't think of it healing. It's going to heal. It just heals. So
right.
Your body, that's like another section of your subconscious that takes care of your body. So when you start like watching the news and all these diseases and all this stuff, and you start thinking about that, you're interrupting what your body is trying to do.
That's right. And this is so that gets back to that placebo effect again, and recognizing we've all experienced that placebo effect, and we do when we recognize it, like you can't get sick today, and suddenly you feel like you're a whole lot better, and you recognize, like, hey, I don't know how I got over that cold right when it was coming on. And these are some of the experiences I share in the book too. Just it's meant to be a very positive reading experience, so it doesn't dwell on all the things that could go wrong. It's mostly focusing on, how can you make your life better than it currently is, and how are people doing this?
Yeah.
And how can it work really easily for you? And that's part of that energy, the emotion, just feeling like, wow, these are regular, everyday people that's happening to. And so all of us can do that. We can.
Yeah, but what helps is, it helps me anyway. What I do is before I go to bed, like 20 minutes before I go to bed, I put myself into a self-hypnosis state, and I just kind of like drop. On my website, angelsguide.org, I'm going to write an article on how to put yourself into a self-hypnosis state.
All right.
So look for that, and the next couple of days.
Looking forward to it.
angelsguide.org.
Okay.
But anyway, so then that way, because I mean, even like if you're saying affirmations, they're not working if you're just walking around saying, I will be rich, I will be rich, you know? So if you can get past...
You've got to make it happen.
Well, you need to get past the inner gatekeeper of your mind that stops all the thoughts that go into you, because...
You mean like the naysayer?
Yeah, it's like that.
What are you saying?
There's like a filter inside of your mind before it goes to your subconscious. That's what,
I've been told I have no filter.
Yeah, well, that's what hypnosis
Got no filters. Well, one of the analogies I like to use is one of shifting gears on a car. Like if you want to shift from first gear to second gear, this is very much like quantum jumping, because you really need to disengage from first gear by putting your foot on the clutch if you're driving a stick shift.
Yeah.
And then you need to shift up, put some more energy into it. That's that emotion. You know, put your foot on the gas, and then you're able to shift into second gear. But the whole key is meditation. It's getting unstuck, and that's that mindfulness practice. So that's so important for people to find some way to stop obsessing about their daily worries. People sometimes they get it. They're prisoners of the monkey mind.
Yeah.
You need to find a way to get free of that. And it really is possible for everyone.
What you need to do is catch your thoughts. Spend
Right.
one day listening to your thoughts, and the ones that are making you into a lower vibration, just say, that's not me. That's not how I'm feeling.
Do away with the negative thoughts.
Then you know what you do? You say, thank you for this thought, I release it. And your vibration will rise in like a second.
And what you're talking about, that's we sort of skipped over it. I want to slow down, back up, and point it out to everybody. That's the key right there. When you watch your thoughts, then you know you're the one watching your thoughts. You are not your thoughts. So the real identity of who you are is not that crazy making stuff where you're running around in circles and worried about things and panicking and frightened. No, you're the one watching those thoughts. That's who you are. You are the awareness, and that's your real identity. And that is the exact total key of meditation. To get to that place where you feel it, so you know it like in your bones. There's no more confusion at all. When those thoughts race through, you're not fooled for a second to think that's who you are. And the reason it takes, studies have shown it takes usually about 8 weeks to show brain changes for meditators who are doing very much like what you're describing, just going to sleep each night, perfect time to meditate. But if whatever it is that people are doing to meditate, after 8 weeks, huge brain changes occur, and it gets a lot easier because a lot of people give up. They feel like, I can't do this, or it's not working, nothing's happening. Well, don't give up, don't stop, because it's going to take a couple months. That's pretty standard. But if you just keep doing this for a few minutes every day for 2 months, you will definitely, absolutely, have a huge difference happening there.
I'm going to do it. I'm going to try this.
You know what's awesome about that too? Is once you learn how to do it and you can get past into your subconscious can't tell the difference between reality and you visualizing.
Exactly.
So I'm going to stay on at night, meditate, and think good, positive thoughts. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
That's right.
You know what I do? I just try to close my mind out, and any thoughts that come in, I just say leave, and I just picture like an open space, like stars and stuff, and I'm and that's all that's on my mind.
All right.
And then any thoughts that start to creep in, you just say, you look at them and you say, you just release them and let them go.
Right. Well, I created a meditation CD for people because a lot of people, they just worry so much they can't even, they can't do it themselves at first. They need that jump start, and it really helps. And
can they get that CD?
Yeah, it's a CD called Aura Healing Meditations, and it's on iTunes and Amazon and through my website. So it makes it easy for people. So you can it's just 3 tracks all together, but it's an hour and a half, and you can just have it running in the background. You can have it play when you go to sleep.
Yep.
And it just energizes you. So even if you feel like, I'm so tired, I can't stay awake, it works anyway.
I do it like that too. I call it Angels in Your Dreams. It's a
perfect. Yeah, it's perfect.
that you play, and it has like Indian music, and it has my voice, like eating affirmations, and I have a workbook that I give to it.
That's perfect.
Really?
Yeah.
Check this out.
Yeah.
Do I get a sample?
angelsguide.org.
If you sent me a book, thank you very much. Great.
Do it, and you'll get on my mailing list.
Okay. All right.
You can't spend $10. Jeez. $9.99.
So, Cynthia, what's in the future for you? Think about writing more books, or?
Right. Well, I'm doing a workshop and a talk this weekend for the, used to be called the Foundation of Mind Being Research, but now they've just recently changed their name, and so I'm not familiar. I'm trying to remember what it's called, but I think now it's the Institute for Advancement of Science and Consciousness. So this is a group that's based in Palo Alto and Los Altos, California. So Friday night I'll be giving a talk, and it'll be just to explain to people how to get a quantum jump into the quantum age, because we have to change the way we're thinking right now, and that's what a lot of people, and these are scientists that come to these meetings, but it's amazing. You know, we tend to sort of incorporate the old status quo thoughts, and it's time to really move out of that, get into that idea that we are in an interconnected holographic multiverse, and all these various possibilities are there. And then I'll be doing a workshop on Sunday, Choose Your Identity, Jumping into the Quantum Age. Because, again, it's one of these times where you can recognize all of those options are out there for you, and you exist in that superposition of states. In other words, there's a version of you that has a lot more confidence and has a lot more success, a lot healthier, just doing terrific. You can really just get yourself energized, feel positive about it, jump into that reality. This is something that people are doing, and I'll be sharing the science behind it and a lot more details on how to do it. So people that are, I don't know if anyone's listening that happens to be in the area or can make it to California this is the weekend of the 15th and 17th of August, and so I'll be definitely having a lot of fun with people doing that. And I've been bringing out my books in audiobook format. That's another exciting announcement. So Quantum Jumps, a lot of people like to hear their books instead of read them. Or now they've got that newfangled thing where you can read an e-book and it flips over and the author is reading it. So I'll be bringing out the audiobook version of Quantum Jumps probably in the next couple of weeks. And my other book, Reality Shifts, is now out in audiobook format as well, talking again about these amazing transformations that people are seeing and how to get into that state of mind where it's just like you say, it's like your subconscious mind cannot tell the difference. You are living in a waking dream, and you can start experiencing it. So that's what Reality Shifts is all about. And Quantum Jumps is the book that we've been talking about now, where there's just so many fun, fast, easy things you can do. So even if you're depressed and have had a lifelong problem with depression, there's fast, easy things you can do to get out of it that I share in this book. You might have had lifelong pain and suffering, and there's some fast, proven, simple things you can do to get out of that situation. Just all kinds of wonderful, fast, easy, simple solutions that I put them all together into one book, which is dozens and dozens of these things, as well as stories that are kind of out there that I think people listening to your show would love, such as really amazing cases of teleportation and just some bilocation sort of situations where people
I have a question. A question from Twitter. What made you decide to write your first book?
Well, that's a great question. Well, what happened is I started, that first book, it was an early edition of Reality Shifts, which was just in spiral-bound kind of format. And when it first came out, what I was doing is writing a book about these amazing experiences I was having, where I would actually literally see things change that were on a scale that there's no way to explain what had just happened. Like, for example, the appearance of a sculpture, a sundial statue. It was like 15 feet tall, made of concrete, that just appeared like it had always been there. And it just showed up one time when I was on my regular walk with friends. We would go and have brunch at the Berkeley Marina. We'd go to a restaurant, we'd go for a walk. And one day we were walking through what used to be an empty courtyard, sort of like a walkway, and then suddenly there's a statue right there in the way, and it's like 15 feet tall. It's huge, and it's all beat up and old looking. It's even got a date on it saying it's a gift from some sister city in Japan. It had been there since 1970 something, and I looked at my friends and I said, have you ever seen this here before? Because I was just talking to them about reality shifts and wondering if they'd ever noticed anything like this, and suddenly we're having one. And they said no, they hadn't seen it there before either. And I said, this is exactly what I'm talking about. And that's the kind of thing where, and lots of people, will notice things and think maybe I'm imagining things. It's like everything from store hours that might have been different. In my case, I'll literally see people in cars sometimes appear out of thin air, disappear into thin air. And just like 1 minute they're there, the next minute they're gone. I've got a really open mind for it, so admittedly, when you open your mind to it and you realize that this is the true nature of reality, you're going to see a lot more of it. But people that are not that open and don't meditate that much, they don't witness as much of it. They do see synchronicity. But I wanted to start the website immediately and start writing a book about it. So this is the work that I began starting in 1998, and I've been pursuing it ever since, because I think there's more and more people are noticing these things. And it's not just a fringe. These are not people who are doing drugs. They're just ordinary people like you and me. And everybody has the experience of doing a load of laundry and then you miss it. A sock goes missing. You might feel like you put your keys down where you thought where they were. Yeah, that stuff happens.
You know what? Now, I never always happened. I never knew there was a name for it, but I'm pretty sure I quantum jump. I just never knew it actually stuff that was involved. Yeah.
Wow.
I do that stuff all the time.
I was told the psychic told me.
I did. I happened to today. Yeah. I just got my car fixed, so I didn't have all my tools. I'm doing a job, and I was looking for a set of vice grips, and I'm like, oh, I don't have any because they're in my bag. I'm like, you know what? I would love to just have a set of vice grips.
Then they were in your back pocket.
No. So then I walked around for about 20 minutes, couldn't find them. So I'm like, well, let me do something else. I go to my table saw that has a broken handle on it. So I have vice grips that I use as the handle. Like, there's my vice grips I was looking for. There you go.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So it's, and then just certain things that my son, for his birthday, he wanted a bike. He's 14. So it's I got a really good feeling about it, because it's like he's 14. He's not going to really enjoy his birthday that much anymore after this, So everything felt good about it. I was just happy. I had the money already to pay for it. No big deal. I'm heading out to pay for it. And I stop into a convenience store. I ended up getting a scratch ticket, I scratched it. It's $150, which is like what the bike costs. So I'm like, thank you for a universe for a free bike, Just because I had a good feeling about it and just let it go. And, it's like the exact amount of money I needed, which I had.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's really typical where people get exactly what they need at just the right time. And, that's especially when it comes to money. And also, it's funny you mentioned about that tool, because a lot of automobile mechanics, they have this experience where they're under a vehicle, they're on one of those crawler things, and they can't quite reach their tool, and really it's out of reach. But they're kind of focused on what they're doing. Then they put their hands back, they kind of reach for it anyway, and guess what? They can reach it. And they didn't move. The tool is actually closer. And this is a really common phenomenon. That's why I'm mentioning it, because people, I don't think they've realized the degree to which we are quantum jumping and reality shifting. Just really, it's an everyday experience. It's part of normal life. And that's what excites me so much, is being able to share with people. Now we've got some of the science. We're living in this most exciting time ever, because we're getting proof that all these connections between our consciousness and the physical world are quite real. In fact, this is the only way to figure out what are the building blocks of reality, is to make sure that we definitely include consciousness itself. That you can't leave it out when you're in the realm of quantum physics. And it's kind of been it's been annoying to a lot of scientists, but I think with each new generation, people are coming up that curve. You know, the children today, for example, they're playing games with quantum physics. They've got this Q-Craft component from Minecraft, and it enables kids to see what it's like when the bricks that they're building with are teleporting. You can use a teleportation sort of quality characteristic with the quantum building blocks. They also can be entangled, so it's kind of like a flock of birds or a flock of building blocks. They all change colors together at the same time. And what's happening is, you know, when kids play with toys like that, it's kind of like Tinker Toys, but quantum Tinker Toys, and now the kids today, they're thinking this way. So that's what's amazing and wonderful, and it's time for all of us to recognize we're all connected. This is the way nature works. That intuition that we take for granted is really part of a quantum process itself. It has to do with entanglement, you know, that you are connected to everyone and everything else around you.
Oh, yeah. We're all the same energy. We're all source.
That's right.
Now, actually, I have another quantum leap I think I did. Like I said, my car died, Tuesday. So I went to lunch to start it, and it just wouldn't start. It was the gas filter, and the gas wasn't getting there, and it's like I tried it like 20, 30 times. I said, you know what? I would really like this thing to start. I would just love it to start. I'm going to walk away. I'm going to go do some work, and I'm going to come back. So I came back. I tried it 2 more times. In the third time, by itself, it revved all the way up to, it like pinned the needle on the speedometer. For about 3 seconds, it dropped down to about a 1, and then it just kind of hovered at that, and I'm like, this is my chance, I'm going to get it to the mechanic. I jumped in and drove it there. And it just like,
whoa.
there's no reason in the world that should have started on that time, because
It's amazing.
I tried like 30 times before that to get it to start, and it wouldn't.
Right.
It was,
You know, it's funny you mention that, because when I was growing up, I think I was practicing a lot of this a lot, because that was in the day, back in the 60s when I was a kid, cars didn't start regularly, and you know, I just remember being a small child and watching my dad trying to, you know, get the car to start, and it's a cold morning, we just had one car, but I noticed that if I just really focused and relaxed, then the car would start. So I think I was just learning a skill, even as a young child. It's not the kind of thing I could talk about, not back then. Now I can talk to people about it and say, here, you know, would you like some help? And because that's the kind of thing we can all do. You know, you don't need to feel like even though your car has died, you know, it could still start again. You know, it's possible. You can jump to that reality where it can do that.
yeah, everybody's done it at some point or another in their life.
That's right.
Everybody can look back and see a point that something happened that really shouldn't have happened, and it just worked out like crazy.
And when you remember that you've already done it, it kind of takes away that sort of barrier, the artificial barrier that so many people think they have. Like, oh, that's impossible. And as soon as, that's why I've been sharing stories, you know, reality shift experiences through my website. I've got that free newsletter, Reality Shifters, and every month you can read stories, you know, first-hand accounts from people where these things are happening. And little by little, you know, even if people are skeptical, which is great, I really encourage skepticism, because that's just questioning, keeping an open mind, and really asking yourself, like, is this real? Did that really happen?
Yeah.
You know, how is that even possible? Skepticism is wonderful. But then, you know, it's because we all have that part of our mind that double checks things. Such a fact checker. Like, really? And so when you read all these experiences and you start, what happens is that it's beyond, it's not just the skeptic, it's the cynic. That part of that little voice that said, it'll never work, you know, that one should not be interrupting those who are getting the work done. And you can overcome that cynic.
Paranormal investigations, we have our team cynic we bring with us. He never believes, but he always shows up.
This shit ain't real. Yeah, all the time. It's all we get.
Sure, he goes, I'm just waiting for someone to pop you something to help.
Yeah.
But he always shows up every time. I mean, he comes with me all the way to Maine, you know? And it's funny. But he's our team skeptic.
Yeah. It's good. Good.
Yeah.
And skeptic is good.
Yeah.
As long as he's not interrupting those who are doing the work, then it's all right.
And then sometimes you need to learn to just not harass the skeptics and let them believe what they believe and let them.
Yes.
You're not going to waste your time teaching on them if
Yeah.
willing to learn.
That's right.
You know, so you tell them what you do, they either believe it or they don't, and they go about their way. You know, don't want to be a born-again Christian beating them down, right?
Right. Well, and there's a reason that skepticism has been present and pervasive as it has, and that's just so that we could get our scientific system and methodology up and running. Because if we didn't have that kind of healthy skepticism, there's no way we could have been operating with the scientific method as long as we have. What's happening now is that scientific method, in my opinion, is going to have to change to adapt to quantum physics. That's just how big a paradigm shift is occurring right now with this new quantum age. It's way bigger than it's on the same scale as the Copernican revolution, because it's going to change everything about the way we see the world. Like right now, people think we're in just one reality. They think that there's true, there's false, there's nothing in between. They don't understand just the nature and the pervasiveness of the fact that when you are pure consciousness, when your energy and all those possible realities are out there, and you can absolutely jump to them, that's what's going to make these quantum computers operate. We're totally going to be depending on all that, and that's the nature of reality. It's big time changes. It's huge.
Yep. Right, Cynthia, we just have a few minutes left. Actually, no, a couple more minutes.
Yeah, we have until 7.
Yeah, we have 5 minutes. That's great. Go ahead, Jeff.
What's your website?
Yeah, well, my website is realitysisters.com, and like I said, I've got actually YouTube videos, because I like information to be there in lots of different formats, so people, sometimes, like I said, they don't want to read all the books, they don't want to get bogged down with too much science, so I try to make everything just understandable, so it's not too overwhelming or too frustrating, or, people feel like they can't quite follow it. And I love to focus on the stories, the real accounts of, things that have happened to people, like the woman in the book Quantum Jumps that found her husband, her true love, after this amazing dream, where she's been having a horrible time, actually, because I think she had to have a standing order against her ex-husband because he'd been harassing her, and she was worried about the kids, and so she was exhausted and fell asleep, and then she just started a new job, and as she was dreaming, she had this dream with this new person in her job, and he's like taking her around and showing her these gardens, and they're standing under a waterfall, and anyway, she wakes up and she's soaking wet, as if she'd been in the waterfall, and it felt like it was real. And so she goes into work, and she meets this guy, and she doesn't even know what to say, because she just started this new job and everything, but she tells him, I had a dream with you, and he said, so did I. And they had like the same dream. So when we're talking about the subconscious and the fact that you can connect there on an energy level, on the level of consciousness, and it is real, these are the kind of things we're talking about. And in that situation, she married that man of her dreams, literally the man of her dreams. It's like they've been under the waterfall together, and I thought that was amazing, that she wakes up just soaking wet, and she wasn't sleepwalking or anything. She just had been in that reality. Yeah.
So good being a investor. Yeah.
Yeah. So these are the ways that people are experiencing these other realities, and it can totally transform your life. So no matter how frustrating or scary a situation might be, the good news is you can always jump to a new reality.
Well, the news is quantum leaping's working for the people that are having crappy lives, too. It's just working the opposite way. It's
know how to get
their reality. Your thoughts are becoming their reality, something negative, like, I got this pile of bills, I don't have my check yet. And I'm like, you're sending that out there. Oh, you don't have enough money? Okay, we'll make sure you don't have enough money. Here's your car breaking down, here's this and that, So it's working negative for some people and that's all they have to do is realize if they change their thoughts that things are going to change for them.
That's right. That's why I focus on that meditation, because when you change your brain, that's why I'm so glad that you're talking about it too, and putting that out there and doing that good work for people, making it available easily, because that absolutely turns it all around, that meditation.
I just went to your site. Because we kind of do the same thing, you know. My people go to yours, yours come to mine.
Absolutely, yes.
Yep.
If I can figure out how to do it, I will.
Well,
So
she's on
you know how
Facebook,
you
too.
can.
Cynthia, you're on Facebook, right?
I'm on Facebook, yes.
Yeah. You can get going. Yeah, that'll work. All right, Cynthia Larson, thank you so much for calling into Everything Paranormal with Mark and Jeff. You were a fantastic guest.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Very good stuff.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, look at that. The crowd likes it.
All right. All right, Cynthia, have a great night.
You too.
Talk to you
Take
soon.
care. Okay. Bye-bye.
All right, folks, we're after break. You know, don't be afraid to give us a call. Check in with us. Jeff, you know the number tonight?
No. Where is it?
At least he's on.
Oh, wait.
Go ahead, give the number right there.
Call there at 607-441-6233. That number again, 607-441-6233. Next 10 callers will get a special gift.
Oh, that's a special gift.
I don't know. We'll figure it out.
Folks, we're going to take about a 5-minute break. You are listening to Everything Paranormal with Mark and Jeff. Broadcasting live from downtown Salem, Massachusetts, the Witch City. We'll see you in about 5 minutes. Go do what you got to do. Bye.
playing the guitar. What's up?
That's Jeff.
That's me playing the guitar.
Yeah.
Wait, let me...
Our last guest
let
was
me
great.
fix this out.
Cynthia Sue Larson was awesome.
Let me play
Check
this
her out.
here.
Check us out on iHeartRadio, on DTM Wicked Paranormal, wickedradio.com. Everything Paranormal with Marky and Jeff.
I played on my fingers bleed.
I think it's pretty good. Remember when back in like the 7th grade you played the clarinet?
Yeah.
Oh,
For 2 weeks.
word.
I'm not musically inclined, I'm sorry.
Yeah, no
It was
doubt.
me and Gail. Gail did the flute, I did the clarinet.
You know what?
I saw it on Lawrence Welk and the guy wailing away on it. And I'm
Yeah,
like,
you got it. You take that.
So I took lessons for 2 weeks. I went through about 4 dozen reeds because I
Yeah.
got them all wet with my sloppy mouth.
Yep. That's when you hear the big glasses too, the big plastic black glasses.
And then it just made a squealing sound. It was shadow windows. So I was brought it
Yeah, I always saw
Like-
it back tears.
I said, no, this isn't for me, I don't think.
No, it was good choice.
Yeah. I still, every time I see that guy on Lawrence Welk.
Dude, Wales.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, Mark, you're back. You got disconnected.
Yeah, we're back. We just lost Stefan again.
No, he's
We were
back.
talking to him.
I think I'm still back on.
All right, cool. All right, let's do this officially one more time, all right? Are we
Okay.
ready? All right, so you missed our whole bit about Jeff playing the clarinet and all that stuff when he was a kid.
Yes, I did.
Good, because that was just bad radio anyway. We were just basically saying how much he sucked, and we opened up with a guitar intro, like a nice bluesy solo. But anyway, we want to welcome our next guest to our show. It's all the way from Canada, Stefan Verstappen. Welcome to the show, Stefan.
Thanks, guys.
Good to have you.
All right, tell our listeners a little bit about yourself and what you do and what you have out there right now.
Well, I'm a writer, and my latest book is called The Art of Urban Survival. And the book is a manual on how to survive the decline of civilization, basically. So it includes things like crime prevention, emergency disaster preparedness, and what to do in case of martial law, police state, biological outbreaks such as Ebola, nuclear war, and things.
So, is the world ruled by psychopaths?
Yes, yeah, the world's ruled by psychopaths.
It makes sense.
I believe it.
Yeah, and that's the reason why everything is the mess that it is, because we keep thinking that we can fix the machinery. So we're going to pass some more laws, and we're going to go to church and have the pastor tell us all to be good, decent human beings, and we're all going to be honest. But, that isn't going to work because the people that are in charge of us are psychopaths, and therefore everything we try to do to make a better society is subverted by these people because they hate us.
Yeah.
Right.
They put fluoride in our water just to mellow us out.
Is this true? No.
Yeah, it is true.
Okay.
Yeah, fluoride, it like keeps you under control and mellows you out.
Yeah, we're under attack from dozens of different.
Nasty.
Yeah. I mean, it's not just the fluoride in the water, it's the entertainment. The entertainment is brainwashing. It's the mainstream media. Mainstream media is just a propaganda tool to make sure that you're good, obedient workers, you know, just like George Carlin. I'm a big fan of George Carlin. He's a great guy. But he says that's what they want, obedient workers, just smart enough to run the machinery, but too stupid to figure out how badly they're being screwed over by the system.
I don't even have a cable hookup anymore. I just basically, I have the Hulu. I don't even watch news or all that stuff. I mean, there's some people that...
How do those revenues work out for you?
The what? They
The
suck.
antenna. They still, what do you mean?
Yeah, they're not working.
All right.
Yeah, I got rid of it. I can't stand it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't watch, like, the news or anything, and, you know, I need to know the weather because I have a construction company. I listen to the 10-minute on the threes weather on BZ, then I shut it right off.
We have a weather update coming up tonight from Wicked
Speaking
Weather.
of weather,
Yeah,
our
PJ,
debut.
7:30. That's perfect.
Our
What?
debut.
Yeah, that's nice. Yeah.
Yeah,
We're gonna have a segment and try to do this every Friday night. It'll be great.
yeah, weatherman.
A Wicked Weather Report.
Yeah.
Anyway, go ahead.
Anyway, go ahead. We're excited about our weather report, sorry.
Yeah, I don't even trust the weather reports because, to be honest with you, I've been looking at the weather reports on Yahoo here, and they've predicted sunny weekends for the last 6 months here in Canada. And yeah, a sunny weekend yet. And then I find out, I read an article somewhere where they said that in order not to make people too depressed, they on purpose predict a sunny weekend. So, you know, I can't even trust the weather report.
See, that's what you see,
Here's a
though.
point. Here's a point. They do that in the
Yeah.
travel industry too.
Yeah.
Or even around here.
They want to encourage tourism. They want you to go out and spend lots of money. They don't
Yeah.
want you to get too pissed off that you're working, 40, 60 hours a week and you're looking forward to your 1.5 days off.
Yeah, yeah.
All you got to look forward is another Arctic vortex, for Christ's sakes, here in the middle of summer, you know.
The rain would be like partly sunny with chance of showers or something like
See,
that.
that's why I listen to the one every on the threes, because they can't lie to you because it's going to happen in 10 minutes.
And our weather guy's honest. He's right on.
Yeah.
Right on.
Yeah, I mean, BZ, it's like it's a regular AM station here. They play weather on
Yeah,
the
they
threes.
don't- yeah.
They can't lie to you if it's happening in 10 minutes, you know? So I like
Exactly. If their weather report doesn't correspond to what you see when you look out the window, you know.
Yeah, it's true. It's true.
Yeah, and then, but I know what you mean. It's like the other ones they put on. Like, you think about it, right? Being a weatherman is the perfect job. You can mess up as much as you want, and you still keep your job, you know?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it's going to be sunny today.
That's
Sorry,
true,
sorry
yeah.
for the rain.
You're wrong like
we
50%
had
of the time.
We had a southwest shift from, you know, it's like,
But that kind of validates what Stefan is saying because, they're giving false weather reports,
Yeah.
therefore they're inaccurate, right? So
Yeah.
that would explain why
you know what
they never
it
did
is?
it.
It's in their wording. They use an NLP,
Well, they do, I'm telling you.
which is like
That's right.
favorable messages to you that make you think, oh, it's okay, he was wrong. It's
So
not
they
his
learned this
fault.
in weather school? With
Yeah, it's like, oh, he was wrong. It's not his fault though because the wind shifted. You know.
Right, yeah.
So then that's what people think, and they're like, oh, I'll listen to weather tomorrow. It'll be better. You know.
Yeah, we didn't see it coming. Just maybe you should explain to your listeners what your NLP means.
NLP is it's actually a lot involved in NLP. It's you basically you're reading someone's motions, their signs, and you're using trigger objects to get your thought. I don't know if I should say this on the radio, but I did it to my ex-wife the other night. Can I tell this story on the radio? We don't really get along, and when we get together, we argue. Let's just leave it at that. So I tried a trick. Out of the corner of her eye, where she couldn't see it, I matched her breathing by tapping a pen on the table.
Mm-hmm.
So I gradually slowed that down, because once her subconscious mind trusted me, and just from that trigger object, so it could relate to me. So then I started to slow it down a little bit, and I slowed it down a little bit. By the end of
Did it work?
By the end of the night, we were laughing about what the kids used to do. You know?
It was her back medication?
Nope, she wasn't on it yet.
Wow.
It triggered her with the pen because it associated that to her breathing. So she's like, oh, her subconscious mind said, oh, he's like me, you know? So
Wow, yeah.
that's what NLP, and then NLP is like certain words that you use.
What does NLP stand for?
Neuro-linguistic programming. And it's, I mean, there's a lot to it to just explain. I'll put that on my website, angelsguide.org.
Oh, boy.
I'll put up an article about it.
angelsguide.org show. All right, go ahead, Stefan. Tell us, talk to us a little more about it.
Sure. Well, I had no idea Jeff was so devious.
Me neither. You know what? It's the
My
first
God.
time I tried it. It's not devious. It's, you know?
It's manipulation, Jeff, and look,
Yeah, exactly. Thank you.
yeah, and it's what's called mirroring, and also it's called entrainment, where you entrain the other person's brain patterns to your rhythm, and those are techniques that psychopaths use, and those are techniques that the state uses. You know, I'm not saying you're a psychopath, Jeff. Excuse me.
Do it for good. They do it for, yeah, I do it for good. I had like, I even had an ice cream with her. And it's like, if you knew me and my ex-wife, you wouldn't see us eating ice cream together.
No, absolutely. I mean, you can use these tools. Hey, listen, I use that sometimes myself, you know, in my video, Defense Against a Psychopath.
Yeah.
It's a clinical description of psychopathy, and it's meant for individuals. You watch the video, and you will learn about psychopaths so that you can protect yourself in relationships from them, so that you don't end up dating one or marrying one, and that you can avoid working for one at the workplace, or, you know, once you understand what they're about, you know, forewarned is forearmed. Once you get some idea of how these people work, you can protect yourself. And since these people cause the most destruction, I mean, on a personal level, you have a psychopath in your life, whether it's a mate, or it's a brother, or it's a parent, or a child, or a boss. They will make your life a living hell, you know. So, and they will make your life more of a hell than any kind of random street crime or anything like that. You know, like, I used to teach martial arts, and everybody's always saying, well, you know, if a mugger, you know, if I'm face down with a street gang in a dark alley, what should I do? I said, well, kiss your ass goodbye, you know. Because if you're stupid enough to be in a dark alley with a bunch of street gang members, then you're going to die, you know.
You put yourself in that position to begin with.
You shouldn't be. Exactly. That's the whole point. Don't get yourself into that position, you know. But everybody always wants to know what to do in that situation. I'm going, and first of all, I don't know anybody that's been mugged. I've never been mugged. I've been in some of the worst neighborhoods in Bangkok and Taiwan and Compton and South Central LA. I've been everywhere. I never was worried once. I was never afraid. But the people that have screwed me day in and day out are the psychopaths that run this country.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're the ones that
I mean, even the politicians are really using a form of mentalism and NLP because, you know, they do a shitty job and we still reelect them.
Sure, you know, I used to be in public relations, and I know what they do. Do you think any of those politicians that you see on TV ever formulated a thought on their own?
No,
They haven't.
no.
Everything they do is scripted for them. They have a half a dozen script writers. Not only that, they have guys that teach them how to move their hands, where to look, how to stand. They've got makeup artists, they got hairstylists, they got voice coaches. Everything is scripted and programmed, and they use NLP. You know, they know how to manipulate people. So you've got dozens of psychological professionals sitting down, writing a script, making sure they use the key words that will, you know, cause an emotional reaction in you so that they'll like you and they'll vote for you and they'll pay their taxes, you know. So, you know, it's all an illusion. And these are the ones that have caused more misery in my life than any street mugger has ever done.
Yeah. Oh, like you said, you know, the way they move their hand, like they could move their hands
Like puppets.
in a circular motion. And so, and
Right,
then out of
yeah.
the corner of your eye, you're seeing that, so that's kind of like rolling you into it.
Or
you know?
going ahead, right? Going
Yeah.
ahead, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, look at Obama when he gives a speech. Looks left, looks right, looks left, looks right. You know, speed that videotape up. He looks like some sort of demonic puppet. You know, you know.
Now, in NLP, what's it called when you can tell what someone's thinking when they look to the left and they look to the right?
Well, I know that theory, and I don't really ascribe to it. I don't believe it to it. But apparently, when you look to the right, you're accessing memory in the left brain, and when you look to the left, you're accessing memory in the right brain. So when you're accessing memory in the right brain, that tends to mean you're lying, whereas the left brain is more intuitive and doesn't have the ability to lie because we censor ourselves, right? Even when we speak, we're censoring ourselves, right?
Yeah, but some people are opposite that if they're right brain thinkers. So
exactly. Some people are opposite. That's why I never use that as a formula to tell if somebody's lying because it's just too flaky. I wouldn't depend on it. But there might be something to it.
Well, I mean, if you think about it, I mean, if you learned about that like Obama, and he does whatever he wants, so there's no way to pick up his patent. There is a way to pick up someone's patent in that. And if they're looking down, if they're looking down to the left or right, that means they're thinking of the memory. If they're up to the left or right, it thinks that they're thinking of something like they're visualizing something and like straight across.
But that can be true in every person.
Yeah, but no, it is true. And then straight across, it's like they're thinking of something audio. So,
yeah, like I have a chapter in the book on how to detect lies, and the fact is it's very difficult to detect lies. We are not as good at detecting deception as we are good at deceiving.
And they're great liars. Some people are great liars.
Yeah, there's some people that they can get right past that.
Yeah. And so, we all have to understand that our ability to detect lies is fallible. So, a lot of times I'll hear a speaker and they're very eloquent and they make a good argument. And, my tendency, my gut instinct is sort of like, I want to believe them, I want to trust them. But because I know I am fallible, I hold back a little bit. Okay, I want to believe you, but you know what I'm also going to do? I'm going to read the counter argument. I'm going to listen to a counterpoint to that, and then I'm going to judge based on the rational and the logic of each argument and whether or not I trust the person, even though I want to trust them but I know they can be more charming and more manipulative than I am able to defend against. So what I do then, and this is what I talk about in the book and in the video, is you can't believe that you are beyond being fooled because everybody can be fooled. So your safest bet is simply to step back a little bit. Don't go on the second date too soon. Don't offer to hire this person right away. Take a step back. There should be a pause between wanting something and reaching out to grab it. Because when you want something, it may be bait for a trap.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
And then,
very good point.
Yeah, and then it's like basically, you need to establish. Sooner or later, people are going to show their true colors. So
exactly, and that's the best strategy is to wait them out because they expend a lot of energy faking it, right? They're putting on a big persona, right? Like, look at these politicians and that. When they get up on there and they start giving their speeches, and remember, everything is choreographed, including looking up and looking down. That's why I would never use that to judge whether or not a politician is lying, because that's probably choreographed. There might be even a guy off stage with a flag waving, "Look here now." Then there's another guy on the other side of the stage saying, "Look here now." You don't know because it's all so programmed. It's thought out meticulously. There's nothing spontaneous or honest about it. So I hold back on it. I can't believe people. I'm sorry. I think you're a nice guy, but I'm not going to believe everything the first time I hear it. And that's the attitude you got to take towards everything. Prevent yourself from being conned by a con artist. Prevent yourself from being seduced by a pretty girl or a handsome guy. Prevent yourself from being suckered in by another political promise that we know they're not going to keep.
Yeah.
Stand back, wait a little bit, because when you wait, they get tired of pretending, and then the mask drops.
Yeah.
Start to see cracks in it. Wait a minute, he claims to love animals and kittens and all that kind of stuff, but didn't he just kick that cat there when he thought nobody was looking?
Or even something simpler than that, like the cat walks by and goes, "There's the cat," it's something like that. "Oh, I thought you loved cats,"
Yeah, and if you're a poker player, poker players have to use body language, and what they call that in poker poker lingo is a leak. You'll leak something that gives away how good your hand is. And that's what poker players look at. They're looking for the guy. Is he going to leak something, something behind his facade that would show that he's got a good hand or that he's bluffing? And it's the same thing. You got to play poker with the world at large, because are the people around you bluffing or are they for real? But if you wait for a second, hold off on your bet, and wait. Do you see a leak? Did he just drop something there? Can you tell? And now you start to get a picture. So, it's just caution. I'm not saying treat people like they're bad people. No, I don't want to do that, because I love people. I want to believe and trust everybody. Unfortunately, my behind is so sore from doing that too often.
Everybody's got their problems.
Everybody's got their problems, and that. So, I want to forgive and forget. But on the other hand, I'm not going to give you my PIN number, just because I think you're charming.
No, I wouldn't go that far.
Well, you know what I'm saying. You're going to get, get into business with him or something like that. There's a lot of things you got to be careful about.
Yeah, I mean, there's people. Yeah, like you said, you just got to wait them out, go from there, because some people might take a few months to figure out.
Yeah. And when it comes to the rulers of our planet, you only see them for a few minutes, on the TV or something like that, and if you even see them, and everything about that is scripted, so it's really hard to wait them out, because you can't tell. I used to say you don't know anybody until you've lived with them, right? Everybody seems really great, but, spend 6 months in their bedroom and then see what you think about them. A lot of times I think they're still great guys and women, but sometimes you find out, whoa, completely different than what you thought. With politicians and the people that rule the country, not just the politicians, but the heads of the banks, the Federal Reserve, the multi-corporations, the Monsanto, and who's that other criminal organization, Goldman Sachs, and those people. I mean, you can wake them out by seeing what happens after they're done. And what happens after they're done is, of course, what have we seen? Robbery, comes out later. Oh, yeah, well, it turned out they lied about that. They got fined a little bit. A couple of people got slapped on the wrist. But, yeah, now you know that 9 months later. But to spot it ahead of time and not to get suckered, that requires you to step back. You got to be shrewd, guys. It's a tough world, and you got to have some street smarts. And that's what I'm trying to teach with the Defense Against the Psychopath, is a little bit of street smarts,
Yeah, definitely. Absolutely. With that, let's just take a quick break. Stefan, first stop.
Hello?
Hello. We're on commercial, guys.
Hello? putting out there the ALS awareness ice bucket challenge.
I got to do it, and guess who I'm picking to do it?
Who, me and Denny? Yeah, I think you should.
Yeah,
Peter already did it.
Yeah, Denny.
I did.
Did you pick Denny?
I did it. I picked Denny. I did. And that's the ALS challenge.
Oh,
You know, guys, it's a great cause. It's a great awareness to let people know out there what people are going through and they're suffering. And to see this going viral and everybody taking part, donating $10 and accepting the challenge, it's great for everyone. And if you don't do it, then you get stuck with paying $100. But you know, either way, I would say if you got the money, donate the $100. Not the ice, anyways.
Yeah.
But make sure that you put water inside the bucket. Like a few people I know just put a couple ice cubes in it. You want to make it more fun. You know what I mean?
There you go. I got my bucket. We might do it tonight because I got nominated and I'm nominated Mark. So
we're gonna do that after the show.
We may as well do the videos now.
We will. We're gonna do them after the show.
Yeah.
Quick story now before we get on the show. I'm a DJ, and I actually worked with Pete Fraze for a couple of fundraising events, and it's kind of cool to work with him down at Harry Ball Field in Beverly.
Awesome.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yep, that was great. So I get to meet him and his mother, and it's all good. But anyway, before we get on with the show, folks, we'd like to introduce to you a new segment of our show every Friday night, probably around 7:30.
Give or take.
Yeah, we are going to have Peter Jude here from Gloucester doing the Wicked Weather Report, and he's got his own show. And welcome to the show there, Pete. How are you?
Pete.
I'm good. Mark, Jeff, how are you guys doing tonight? Down beautiful, historic Salem.
Yeah.
Downtown Salem.
You're a historic Gloucester, so we got nothing on you.
Actually, I love coming up to Salem. I love Salem Willows. I love going to the Salem Witch Museums. I just love everything about it. It's got their own quaint atmosphere, and you can see a lot of different things up there, and some strange things as well.
I love going to Gloucester. You know, it's like so nice and peaceful up there in Rockport and that area. Nice.
Yeah. It's actually nice to hear the waves crash at night when you go to sleep. I kind of like that. Some people die out in the Midwest to hear that. They buy tapes and CDs so they can fall asleep hearing the waves crash.
Yeah.
We have it here, so we're fortunate.
I used to live in Rockport, right on Main Street, right across from Cathedral Rock, and I loved it.
Yeah, and I was out in Magnolia on those waters. It's nice.
Oh,
don't you escape to the subliminal like that? And you just...
I do, angelsguide.org.
Yeah, I'd rather listen to the ocean. I'm with you, Peter. Peter, how about a weekend forecast?
This weekend's looking pretty good, guys. I mean, I haven't seen anything in the models that are saying that we're going to have any rain. It's looking like it's going to be sunny, and beach weather is looking great as well. We might have some clouds up in the Salem area as well as Cape Ann. I don't really call Salem a spot in Cape Ann because you guys just don't make it. It's Beverly. But to me, the North Shore, I mean, we can add Salem to Cape Ann. I don't see why we cannot.
Yeah.
But back to the weather, it's looking like great beach weekend coming up for folks that want to come into Salem area district or up here in Gloucester for the beaches. We got some beautiful beaches up there. We got Good Harbor Beach. We got Wingersheek Beach. We got Pavilion Beach, which pretty soon won't be a beach anymore. They're putting in a project over there with a Birdside building is. I believe they're putting in a hotel or something, but it hasn't really come to fruition yet. We also have Long Beach, and we got all the beautiful beaches in Rockport as well. And Salem's got some beaches as well, correct?
Yeah, we got like Forest River.
One of my favorite, Dead Horse Beach down the Willows. I love it. It sounds sad, but it's nice.
We actually grew up right on a beach. We were like 4 houses up from the ocean. It sounds more glamorous than it is. The house that like racks back.
The beach was
flying through it, but
it was right next door to that house that was in Hocus Pocus. If everybody saw that movie when the
Oh, right, yes.
All seven of you people saw the movie.
Yeah.
They film a lot of movies up there in the Cape Ann and as well up in the Salem area. It's just it's beautiful. It's beautiful, and the producers and the directors they love it. The location people find it like, hey, Cal, Hollywood's here. They've been here. They were here a couple of weeks ago filming. I don't know what it was. It was with a Whitey Bulger film. And then we just recently had a couple other film crews in town. So everywhere you look, you see it. But we're getting back to the forecast, guys. Beach weather this weekend. Make sure you wear your sunscreen, SPF.
Sun index is going to be right around a 9 to a 10, so it's very high. You can burn in less than 10 to 15 minutes. So you don't want those bad burns, because at night, I know I put aloe on before, and you still get the chills. Highs are going to be in the low 80s at the shore with feeble sea breezes in the afternoon. And inland will be a little bit warmer, about 84 to 85. And we might see a shower or thunderstorm late Sunday if a system comes down out of Canada. And lows on weekend are going to be in the 50s, upper 50s to mid 60s at the shore. Water temperatures are in the low 70s, and they're in the mid 70s off of Cape Cod in the islands in the southeast coast. And Cape Ann is about 71 water temperature. Salem Harbor, I believe, is 68 or 66.
Yeah, that's good.
And,
Refreshing.
and another thing you got to watch out for is pollen season. Allergies. Right now, the mold spores are skyrocketed. They're way high.
Yes.
Hay fever and just the pollen levels are crazy. I actually know this because I came down with my allergies today, and it'll seem like you can't see under your eyes. It's like a fog that goes over your lens of your eye. So yeah, it's kind of crazy. So I don't like the allergies.
That's one eye. I agree. And I'm thinking people probably think I'm half baked, but I wasn't. It was just that one eye out. Yeah. It was all going stuff around.
Got a little of both.
All right, Peter Jude, thank you very much for calling in. Folks, make sure you check out his show. And when is it, Peter?
Wicked Weather.
When's your
Saturday nights. Saturday nights at 8 p.m. Eastern. This weekend I have Stormtrooper Jay that eyewitnessed tornado touchdown in Walcott, Connecticut. So hear all about his story and his experience that really kind of, I wouldn't say terrified him, but it put some chills into his bones for sure.
Terrify me. All right. Peter Jude, thank you very much.
Absolutely.
Yeah, man.
All right, thanks, guys. Have a great night. I'll see you next Friday.
Thanks a lot, Pete.
All right, see you.
All right. Now, all the way back to Canada, up in Canada. Stefan, first up, and welcome back to Everything Paranormal.
Hi, guys.
Hey, how's it going, Stefan?
Thanks for putting up with our breakdown.
Yeah.
Problem. Sorry for bringing all that bad weather down there.
Yeah, I was thinking of you. Yeah,
Yeah.
you did that.
I know it.
From Canada.
As he was
liked
talking,
it.
I'm thinking, is he sending us messages? Well, we have it every week, so he can't do it to us. We'll have to see how his forecast goes.
Oh, it was good. Yeah, it was good. It's good stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah, we got a good forecast here too, so you guys should be all right too.
yeah, but yours might not be real.
All the cold, bad stuff comes from Canada.
See, we import our own weatherman, so we know it's real. Yours might not be.
Yeah, I was just outside. It's sunny and warm, so I can trust that now.
For now.
Perfect. So, Stefan, tell our listeners again how they can check out your videos and your book and all that good stuff.
Okay, the name of the book is The Art of Urban Survival, and it's like a first aid manual. I mean, I think everybody should have in their home library a hard copy of an emergency first aid manual, a wilderness survival manual, and my book, The Art of Urban Survival, because the first aid manual will teach you how to handle, minor medical emergencies. And the wilderness survival manual, I don't know about you guys, but I grew up in the woods here. We spent a lot of time camping, canoeing, hiking, and all that kind of stuff. I'm sure you guys did too, right?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yep.
So, I'm sure you guys got a wilderness survival book somewhere in your house, right?
No, it's kind of old school. We kind of learned as we grew up and we went, learned as we went.
Even better, And so this book is meant for it's like a wilderness survival book, but for the city, what to do about street gangs, bad neighbors. What if you get lost in a bad neighborhood? How do you get out of there? How to travel on public transit. What to do if you're dropping your girlfriend off at a taxi stand and she's taking a taxi home by herself. What to do if there's a storm like a Hurricane Katrina or Hurricane Sandy there that hit you guys up the coast, how to prepare for that, a bug-out kit, a home emergency kit, food, supplies, or what to do if somebody goes missing in your family. Suddenly the lights go out, the power grid's down, you're at work, the kids are at school, the wife's at the office, how are you going to get a hold of all of them? Do they all know where to go if something goes wrong? Do you need to find your wife or your kids? How do you put together a quick search and rescue team, what we call a hasty team, that will go out and find your kids and bring them home, things like that. So anything that could happen to you in the city that could possibly hurt you, this book has an answer for you. It's very simple, and it's not like a personal experience kind of book. No, it's very dry. It's a manual. Read a couple of pages every day. For example, depends on what's going on. Right now, we have the threat of Ebola virus, right? And you see it all over the news. So, well, what should I do? What should I do? Well, in my book, there's this chapter on pandemics and plagues, and how to protect yourself and what to do to lessen the risk of being infected. So when the news comes out, there's a disease might go rampant. Well, just read the book, 4 or 5 pages, and then follow the advice in there to protect yourself against plagues, Or if they say, there's going to be, protest demonstration outside your office. Well, and you get stuck in the middle of a riot on the way home. How do you get out of there? It's in the book. So, yeah. And you can buy that on Amazon, all that kind of stuff,
Can you get it a regular hard copy too, like a soft copy or something?
Oh yeah, there's a regular hard print copy that you can get through Amazon. You can get ebook versions, Kindle and Lulu and Smashwords and all that. But I would recommend a hard copy because
when your computer goes down.
Exactly, because if your computer goes down, you can also upload, and I recommend this for everybody, upload my book onto a flash drive, but also upload, any kind of survival manual, home canning, water purification manuals, emergency first aid manuals. Upload it onto a flash drive, and then if you have one of those portable readers, you can still read it, and then recharge the batteries to run your reader using solar chargers.
Yeah,
I've got like a little pocket solar battery charger that there's a YouTube video showing you how to make a little cigarette case battery charger for like $10. You can put it together. If you know how to use a soldering iron, you can whip this off in half an hour, right?
Nice.
And, it's called cigarette case solar battery charger. So just Google that and you'll find my video. And so I've got one of those too. So if the power goes out, I've got like 50 survival manuals, not just survival manuals, but how to purify water and how to bake bread from scratch and things like that. I have them all on a flash drive, so if the power goes out, and if it goes out, I don't care, for a couple of months, I can still access all that information, and I can recharge the batteries using my little portable solar battery charger.
Hello?
Hello?
I thought we lost you there for a second.
Yeah, I know. Sometimes I'll stop because I think you might want to say something at that point. I tend to go on unless you stop me.
Oh, we were listening. Go ahead. You're talking about the cigarette lighter that you can recharge after 2 months. You better hope it doesn't last 10 months, though.
Well, yeah. Well, but if it's going to be that long, then you're going to have to resort to some other things. This book is meant for families. It's even got like a chapter on kids. What to do if your kid doesn't come home from school? Where do you start to look? How do you identify them? Do you have a child identification kit? So it's meant for families, but it's meant to keep you alive for 3 days. That's what I intended when I wrote the book. So long as you don't die by making a stupid mistake in the first 3 days of either, crime wave or natural disaster, then after that, your chances of surviving are like 90%. But, if it's something that's really, a nationwide disaster that's going to last months, my book isn't going to be enough. It'll be enough for for most people, but to, long-term, kind of post-apocalyptic scenario, no, you're going to have to figure something else out.
You watch The Walking Dead?
Oh, I love The Walking Dead, yeah.
Yeah, isn't that the best show in the world? I can't wait till it's on again.
Every day of my life is an episode of The Walking Dead.
Zombie?
Yeah.
Does she get her head whacked in?
Well, it's there's a lot of people that are asleep and wandering around and have no clue of what's going around them. It's what's called, in the military they use the word situational awareness, which means, heads up, eyes open, see what's going on around you. But now when I walk down the street, even when I'm out in the park, it's nature. There's birds and trees and everything. Everybody's looking down at some goddamn iPad or something. They're wandering through the woods looking at an iPad and twittering or twitting and tweeting and some sort of, I'm walking through the woods. But hey, put the goddamn thing away, look up, look around, smell the roses. And that's why I say, every day is Walking Dead for me.
Yeah. Live in the now, I mean, they take a whole walk in the woods and they didn't even see the birds and all that.
Well, if you're going to be doing all that stuff, I don't understand the point of going outside then, If you go out and enjoy the outdoors. Right now I'm sitting in front of the computer talking to you guys, so that's what I'm doing right now. But once I'm done with you guys, I'm going for my bike ride down the beach, and I'm going to bicycle along the lake, and I'm not going to have any contact with the outside world at that point. I'm going to decompress and pop open a beer and relax,
Yahoo! You Canadian guys, you crazy.
Yeah, we like our beer.
Yeah. What else is in it to win 9 months a year?
So, what time are we over?
How
How much time we got?
about 9 minutes. Why, you got a date?
No, I want to tell you my ghost story.
Oh, all right. Yeah, go ahead. Let's hear it. Oh.
Because, we are Everything Paranormal.
Yes,
And
we
we've been talking about, psychology and politics and stuff like that and urban survival, and it's hardly paranormal, so I thought I would entertain you guys with my true life ghost story. You want to hear it?
Yes, we do. Absolutely.
Okay, I'm going to preface this story by saying that I am a very hardcore skeptic. I don't believe in ghosts, but I saw one. And it happened about 10 years ago, and I'm kind of a night owl. So it's not unusual for me to walk my dog at like 1, 2 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
When I'm out there, I'm the only guy out there, right? So it was in the wintertime, and in the wintertime, the ground's covered in snow, so even though it's dark, it still reflects the moonlight, and, you can see, it's a lot brighter than it is in the summertime.
Yeah.
So I take my dog for a walk, and I always follow the kind of same route, which, first I go into the forest, and then I follow this ravine for a while, and the dogs, how they love to go into the water. Dogs love the water, so I let them splash around a little bit, and then I come out of the ravine, and there's an open field. So I'm taking the dog for a walk. It's 2 o'clock in the morning. It's snow on the ground. It's quite bright. There's no leaves on the trees, of course. Everything is bare and stark. And as usual, I'm the only person out there. There's not even traffic on the nearby road. Nothing's dead quiet. So I'm walking, and we get out into the open field, and suddenly I see an old man standing in the middle of the field. Now, just as I noticed him, the very instant that I saw this guy, my dog goes crazy, like I've never seen her go crazy before. Like a blue chip hound when they're coon hunting, how their bark changes when they treat a coon, right?
Yep, it's the first sign that your animal went crazy.
Exactly. So my dog, Miko, she goes crazy. Rah, 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 rah. I never heard her yell like that or bark like that. Boom, boom, boom. And then what she does is she runs around in a circle around this guy standing there, right?
Yeah.
Except after I stopped looking at her because I saw the guy, the dog went crazy. I looked at the dog, I looked up, and there's nobody there.
Nice.
But the dog is still going crazy. She's running around in a circle where I saw this guy standing, and she ran around in a circle for like 5 minutes, woo, 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 with her face turned towards the center of the circle as though there was somebody there, and there wasn't anybody there. Now, I saw him, the dog saw him, and then it turned out that the next day, there is a church right across the street from the open field. There was a funeral the very next day.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So,
you saw the holy grail of ghost hunting right there. You're probably the luckiest guy we know. You never see a full apparition, hardly.
No, I saw an old guy standing there, and even afterwards, like after he disappeared, I'm thinking to myself, well, there must be a shadow there or something, or something to cause a optical illusion. Disregard what the dog did. The dog obviously saw something there she wasn't happy about. So I went to the spot where I saw him standing. There's nothing there. It's pristine as snow. Not even a footprint. There is nothing there that would have given me an optical illusion.
Yeah.
So I saw this old guy there, and definitely by the way my dog went off. She's never done it since. I never seen her do that before then, and she was definitely felt really upset about it. And so now I'm a skeptic. So here's the logical conclusions that I have to choose from. One is that somehow my dog was able to psychically pick up on my optical illusion and therefore reacted. Maybe she reacted to my body language or something, even though I didn't react when I saw the guy. But again,
spirit too. They're sensitive to spirits.
Exactly. So I'm thinking either the dog is sensitive to me and I imagined it, even though there is nothing there for me to even, how if you walk out in the woods at night, we've all done it. We've all been camping, and you can go out in the woods and you can see all kinds of shadows out there, right? And sometimes if you look at them sideways, you go, "Is that a bear?"
Yeah, definitely.
Right? But this was right out in the open field, pristine snow. There was nothing that could have made me imagine somebody there. So that kind of explanation doesn't hold water with me. So the only remaining explanation is that it was a ghost. And the fact that there was a funeral the next day at the little church right across the street from where that open field was, I'd have to say it was a ghost, even though I don't believe in ghosts. So I don't have a preconceived notion to interpret information according to a ghost. Like, for example, because I never believed in a ghost, if I see a shadow, I'm not going to say to myself, "Oh, it's a ghost," right? Because I don't believe in them.
Yeah.
And yet I still saw it, So that's my ghost story.
That's pretty good, because you got to see an apparition that...
It's amazing. I've been waiting years.
It was either...
Decades
You
to
did
see an
see one in Salem at the...
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't seen one yet. I've seen shadows and stuff, but those, you don't even know what they are.
No, this guy was a full apparition. He was a tall, lanky guy, old, I didn't feel threatened. I wasn't worried about him at all. I didn't get a malevolent feeling from him.
Yeah.
It was just sort of standing there, kind of gazing off into the distance.
He was either the guy that died or the guy going to the funeral.
Yeah, who knows,
Yeah, because he might have just said, "Oh, look at, pay my respects. I'll, help my friend pass along here." And
maybe he's waiting for him to come along and they both go on into the light kind of thing. I don't know. And like I said, I don't believe in this stuff, but what can I say? I can't deny what I experienced. And even if I were to deny myself, it's the way the dog acted. The dog saw the ghost.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. The dogs are going to react. I mean, we use Mark's dog on our investigations, and he goes crazy in the spots that we go to.
Yeah, I do believe dogs are very sensitive, or animals are very sensitive,
Yes, all animals. Kids are, too.
Yeah, kids are, too.
Hey, we got a question for you. We got a question of the week before we run out of time.
You're going to ask him the question.
Yeah.
Okay.
Uh-oh.
Right?
Yeah, you ask.
What are your thoughts on the Ouija board? Do you have any opinion either way on the Ouija boards?
Yeah. I went through a whole phase in my study of life where I, did all kinds of crazy things like astral projection, and I was in with the Rosicrucians, and we had a lot of friends that were psychics and things like that. The Ouija board, my rational mind tells me that it's subconscious movement of the body, but to be honest with you, I wouldn't let my children play with one.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I don't think it's a good idea. I don't know whether, even though I don't believe in ghosts and things like that, the thing is that science does prove that we are vibration, and we're a specific type of frequency of vibration, and we're mostly empty. The space between atoms is huge, so we're all basically empty things. There could exist entire universes within our present existence, just slightly out of phase,
Yeah,
So there is that possibility. Let me put it in the, the Mythbusters. It's plausible, right? I don't have proof for it.
Yeah.
But I can't say it's not true,
No, us, we want to know yay or nay if they like it or not. I mean,
Yeah.
we're about
Put
to
nay on that.
say that we wouldn't play with it.
Yeah.
I play with no. I wouldn't play with it.
You had a good theory, though. We haven't had that theory yet.
All right, Stefan, first off, and that's just about all the time we have tonight. Thank you very much for calling on the show. It's been our pleasure.
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks for having me on, guys. It's been a lot of fun.
All right.
You have a great night, and you can check us out on iHeartRadio and everythingparanormal.com, and you can hear a link to the show. Thanks. Have a great night.
Good night.
Goodbye.